David's hands trembled as he adjusted the neural interface collar around his neck. The metal felt cold against his skin, a reminder that he was about to stand before the most powerful being in the Andromeda Coalition, the Zivara Queen, whose telepathic abilities could peel back the layers of any sentient mind like peeling an orange. "Breathe," whispered Elsa from across the sterile white chamber. "She can sense fear." But David wasn't afraid. He was terrified, not of the Queen, but of what she would discover. Because the moment Elsa had walked into the xenolinguistics lab 3 months ago, her auburn hair catching the artificial sunlight of the station's biodome, something in David's carefully ordered universe had collapsed into chaos. One look at her green eyes, intelligent and curious as she'd studied the Zivara glyphs on his datapad, and his heart had made a decision his brain was still trying to rationalize. Now, as humanity's diplomatic envoys to the Zivara homeworld, they stood together in the Queen's audience chamber, a vast sphere of bioluminescent walls that pulsed with what the xenobiologists called thought light, the visible manifestation of the Queen's consciousness. The Queen herself materialized before them, not walking but simply existing where she hadn't been a moment before. She was massive, her chitinous body rising 3 meters tall, her 6 limbs moving with fluid grace. But it was her eyes, 12 compound eyes arranged in a crown around her elongated head, that captured David's attention. They refracted light into impossible colors, hues that human vision wasn't designed to process but somehow did anyway. "Humans," the Queen's voice resonated not through sound but directly into their minds via the neural collars. "You seek passage through Zivara space. You offer cultural exchange, but you bring something else, something you hide even from each other." David felt his pulse quicken. The briefing had warned them. Zivara queens could perceive emotional states, could read the electromagnetic patterns of human neural activity. But surely she couldn't know this. He'd been so careful, maintaining professional distance, never letting his feelings show during mission training or the 6-month journey to Zivara Prime. "Your Majesty," Elsa began, her voice steady despite the impossible pressure of that alien scrutiny, "we come with open hearts and—" "One heart more open than the other," the Queen interrupted, and suddenly her massive form shifted, moving closer to David. The male. His neural patterns spike when observing the female. Dopamine, oxytocin, norepinephrine, the chemical symphony of what you call love. It began precisely 94 of your days ago at 14:37 station time. First visual contact in laboratory subsection 7B. David's face flushed crimson. Beside him, he heard Elsa's sharp intake of breath. "This was not in your diplomatic profiles," the Queen continued, her thought light poolsing amber, curiosity David's xenopsychology training supplied. "You humans compartmentalize so strangely, believing you can separate personal feeling from professional function. But you, David Chen, you experience what we Zivara call krathana, the singular recognition of one's evolutionary complement. You saw her, and your entire being knew." "Your Majesty," David started, but words failed him. How could he explain? How could he defend against the truth? "And you, Elsa Moravec," the Queen's attention shifted, "your patterns are more complex, confused. You have not allowed yourself to recognize what your companion feels, though your own neural chemistry responds to his presence. Elevated heart rate, subconscious mirroring of his body language. The biological markers are clear, yet your conscious mind suppresses them. Why?" Elsa's composure finally cracked. "Because it's inappropriate," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We're professionals. We're representing our entire species. We can't afford to be distracted by the most fundamental drive of your biology." The Queen's thought light shifted to violet, amusement perhaps, or something alien that approximated it. "How very human. You reach across the stars, master quantum physics and genetic engineering, yet remain terrified of your own hearts." The chamber fell silent except for the subtle hum of the biodome's life support systems. David finally found his voice. I never wanted to jeopardize the mission. I thought if I kept it hidden. Hidden? The Queen made a sound like crystalline laughter. David Chen, your species broadcasts emotions like blazing suns. Every gesture, every glance when you think she isn't watching, every careful word chosen to maintain professional distance while your mind screams otherwise. You are not subtle creatures. Elsa turned to face him for the first time since entering the chamber. Her eyes were wide, searching his face as if seeing him for the first time. David, is this true, all this time? He met her gaze, and suddenly the Queen's presence, the diplomatic mission, the weight of representing humanity, all of it fell away. From the first moment, he admitted, when you smiled at me over those Zivara glyphs and asked if I really thought we could translate poetry across species barriers, I knew then. Humans, the Queen's voice drew their attention back. The Zivara do not bond for mere chemical reasons. We bond through Shakara, true recognition of the other. We have watched your species, studied your history. You are young, impulsive, often foolish. But in this, you are not so different from us. Love, Krathana, Shakara, whatever you name it, is not a weakness. It is the courage to be vulnerable, to recognize another as essential to your existence. The Queen's form shifted again, and now her thought light blazed gold. Approval, blessing, something profound that made David's neural collar warm against his skin. Your passage through Zivara space is granted, the Queen declared. Not because of your technology or your trade goods, but because any species that can produce beings capable of such feeling, such brave stupidity, deserves to reach the stars. But there is one condition. David and Elsa exchanged glances. What condition, Your Majesty? Elsa asked. That you cease this ridiculous pretense. Life is short, even with your medical advances. The universe is vast and cold. When you find warmth, you do not hide it, you cherish it. As they left the audience chamber, David's hand found Elsa's. Her fingers intertwined with his, warm and real and finally, impossibly his. So, Elsa said, a smile playing at her lips, 94 days ago, the exact moment. The exact moment, David confirmed. The alien queen knew before I even fully admitted it to myself. Then I suppose we owe her our thanks, Elsa said, squeezing his hand, for being braver than we were. Above them, through the translucent dome, 3 moons rose over Zivara Prime, and for the first time in months, David felt like he could finally breathe.